CTV News with Ricardo, Veneza.
Sales are down. They've been down considerably over the last year. They need to sell these vehicles, but at the moment, they're sitting on dealer lots.
It's a troubling time for the auto sector in southern Ontario as Stellantis reports a major multi-billion-dollar loss tied in part to Donald Trump's tariffs. Good evening. We now have one more number to highlight the pain the U.S.-launched trade war is causing the interconnected economies of North America. Stellantis has reported a multi-billion-dollar loss for the first half of this year, in part tied to the president's tariff scheme. As CTV's John Vanavali-Rao reports, it could be just the beginning of a shaky future for the auto sector, not only in Windsor, but in Canada.
Since last year, this Stellantis auto plant in Brampton, Ontario, has been shut down for retooling that was paused back in February and is yet to resume. And now, with word of the company's financial losses, in part related to tariffs, the workers are understandably worried.
Emotionally, it's very hard because there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, we got 3,000 members in that Brampton assembly plant, 1,000+ members that supply that plant and the parts supplier base.
Stellantis, which is known for brands like Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Fiat, reporting that the U.S. president's auto tariffs have so far cost the company $480 million Canadian, as it cut vehicle shipments and some production. And the chief financial officer says the full-year tariff impact could be as much as $2.4 billion.
It won't help them, that's for sure. And Stellantis is already in a decent spot of trouble. They've run into all kinds of issues, particularly in the North American market.
The company has been struggling with slow sales and restructuring costs, and a new CEO was brought in 2 months ago after the previous one resigned under pressure. At Stellantis' Windsor, Ontario plant, operations were shut down for several weeks earlier this year, and workers were supposed to return to the Brampton plant by the end of this year. But the retooling remains on hold. Still, Stellantis continues to say it does not change our previously announced investment plans for Brampton.
A world with tariffs is unacceptable for us. A world with tariffs puts our plant in a vulnerable position, even more so than it is now. And not only for our plant, but all of southern Ontario and the whole auto industry.
And despite that hefty tariff cost, the union rep remains confident the Brampton plant will make vehicles again, although when is not clear. John Vanavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Now we're learning of those losses just a day after Unifor solidified its first collective agreement with Windsor's Nexstar battery plant.
This is a brand new industry in Canada, and we have to make sure they're getting the proper representation they deserve.
The union bills the agreement as a new standard for the electric vehicle sector in the country. 88% of the members voted to adopt the deal and unionize under Unifor Local 444. The contract includes a 5% wage bump, lump sum payments, and pension improvements. The union now represents nearly 500 workers at the plant. Union President James Stewart, who you heard from there, says they strategically negotiated a one-year pact.
We know that the industry is changing fast. We know the workplace is evolving very quickly. We didn't want to lock ourselves into a long-term agreement. It's a one-year agreement so we can address the issues in the short term and then get back to the bargaining table in due course to fix the problems that are going to arise over the course of the next year.
As Stewart speaking with CTV News yesterday. Now, the trade war was front and center in cottage country today. Canada's premiers and territorial leaders are meeting for the next 3 days, talking trade, tariffs, and teamwork. The Prime Minister is set to join the group tomorrow. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome everyone.
Premiers today kicked off the annual Summer Council of the Federation meeting at a critical time for the country.
Right now, our economy in all Canada suffers because of the uncertainty.
Facing intensifying tariff pressure from the U.S. and a looming deadline to reach a new trade deal, premiers have come to cottage country to work together to find ways to drive Canadian prosperity.
How are you feeling, Premier? I'm feeling fantastic.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hosting the three-day meeting and started it off calling for a revived Buy Canadian push in every province and territory.
Start buying Canadian-made everything. We are an economic powerhouse, and we don't have to take a backseat to anyone.
Beyond buying local, premiers say Canada needs to build. And so today they met with Indigenous leaders to talk about moving major new nation-building energy and infrastructure projects forward, an effort to find a way to get to a yes faster, while still ensuring First Nations leaders are consulted.
It's time now in 2025 that First Nations are at the table and that we have a bigger seat in this country.
Provincial and territorial leaders are also aiming to advance internal trade pacts while here, carrying on with work they've been doing this year to break down domestic barriers and find new markets.
These are all steps. They're steps in the right direction. We need to have free and open trade between our provinces. We need to have free and open trade on our continent with the U.S. and Mexico.
Tonight, premiers will be having dinner at Ford's nearby family cottage, a private planning session ahead of a big meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney tomorrow. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Huntsville, Ontario.
And the U.S.-launched trade war isn't just a concern on this side of the border. Still ahead, a look at the Ottawa visit from a group of U.S. senators looking to address the ongoing tariff threats as well, with Prime Minister Mark Carney today. In downtown Windsor, police say a 22-year-old man was taken to hospital following a shooting yesterday morning. Police say the gunfire was heard near Olette Avenue and Park Street just before 3 a.m. on Sunday. One man was hit but is expected to recover from his injuries. So far, investigators believe the shooting followed an altercation between two groups, and they're looking for any video evidence that may help with that case. Ontario Provincial Police has announced a multi-jurisdictional human trafficking investigation has landed a Windsor man with charges. Police say investigators were notified in May about a victim being trafficked through online advertisements. The province-wide investigation identified a second victim. Officers arrested 30-year-old Jarrett Phillips on July 16th on multiple sex-related charges. Well, now to LaSalle, where a town resident has been charged with impaired driving after a storefront was smashed into over the weekend. Police say it was Saturday afternoon when this truck was driven right through the front window of a business on Malden Road. You can see the aftermath there. Police have not released the accused's name, but say the driver registered twice the legal limit for alcohol. There were no major injuries as a result of that crash. And over on our website, the details of an area addictions and anger management counselor now charged with sexual assault, and police believe there may be more victims. That story and more over at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Well, we have an update tonight to a story we first brought you back in April. The operations of a Harrow wind farm provided the town of Essex with an update on efforts to clean leaking turbines. Our Robert Lothian was there this evening. He joins us tonight with the very latest. Robert, cleaning a turbine, that's not easy.
No, Ricardo, it certainly is not. It's been a long-standing issue for residents reporting a dark substance leaking from wind turbines in the area. Crews have been working to clean the blades, but it's certainly no simple task. Tonight, the head of the AIM Harrow Wind Farm says work is progressing slowly to clean the blades and prevent any future leaks.
What we do is we then have rope access technicians who manually and laboriously clean the blades from all the grease. The product that is used is a biodegradable product.
CEO Denny Richard telling Essex Council the only oily dark substance is a combination of grease and hydraulic fluid. The wind farm in Harrow includes 24 turbines, and cleaning each blade takes an average of just over a week, with challenges ranging from the weather to limited labor, as the work requires a specialized skill set. Richard explaining the process can vary widely, with turbines that look clean taking longer than those that look dirty due to the nuances of the job. So far, crews have finished cleaning 7 turbines. Council also heard additional upgrades to prevent the turbines from leaking are also about halfway done. When it comes to environmental concerns, Richard says there's no reason to believe it's affected the surrounding land.
We've had an environmental consultant come in, review the area. They were unable to find any deposits of the oil or grease, which to me means that it's just been dispersed, if there was any, to the point where it's not undetectable generally.
Now, when we talk about the weather factor, rain and lightning are issues that can prevent crews entirely from getting any work done on the turbines, making it difficult to determine a possible completion date. Ricardo.
Okay. Robert Lothian tonight. Yeah, if you thought it was tricky to clean a turbine, it sounds like it's even trickier than that. That's CTV's Robert Lothian tonight. Thank you for that. Well, Windsor's Ward 2 by-election open to candidates today, and the first contender has filed their paperwork.
I spend most of my time down in Ward 2. I'm there for school. I'm there at all the great restaurants that are down there. And I think that I could help be a voice for the people of Ward 2 that desperately need good representation.
One of the first to seek nominations is Nick Amlin right there. The 16-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces is now a student at the University of Windsor. He's looking to fill the vacant Ward 2 seat left empty by Fabio Costante's move to take over as the head of the Windsor-Essex Community Housing Corporation. The nomination period for candidates closes September 12th. Election day is scheduled for Monday, October 27th, with 2 days set aside for early voting. Amlin says addressing the West End's blighted homes is a top priority.
There's got to be something we can do as a city to move that forward just for the residents. Leaving those there, it just does nothing for the neighborhood. It brings down the equity of surrounding properties. It attracts rodents, it attracts crime.
The local chapter of Habitat for Humanity is now part of the Ontario Corps. The Ontario Corps is made up of 13 partner agencies which can respond to an emergency or natural disaster. The province announced a $10 million investment today that will see Windsor's Habitat for Humanity join the ranks. St. John Ambulance, Search and Rescue, and a trauma treatment center are also coming on board. During the ice storm earlier this year, Corps partners volunteered over 6,000 hours to help clear trees and support evacuation centers. And from the entertainment world tonight, fans and loved ones are mourning the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Help yourself at home. Okay, the peanut butter's there and the celery's in the kitchen. Just don't leave.
Warner was known for his role on The Cosby Show, rising to fame as a child star playing Theo Huxtable on the hit sitcom from 1984 to 1992. He'd also appear in the TV series Malcolm and Eddie Read Between the Lines and the film Fool's Gold. Warner died at the age of 54 in a drowning incident on Sunday afternoon while on vacation with his family in Costa Rica. Well, after the break, Gary Archibald joins us for a look at this week's weather in the region.
When you get your bin, you want to read the welcome label on it.
Still ahead, the region's new green bins are officially being given out. Our Bob Belichico shows us who's first in line and what you need to know about what goes inside. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for a check of the forecast. Gary, pretty picture perfect in Windsor, Essex, and it sounds like we've got more sunshine on the way.
You're right about that. Good evening once again, folks. We are in the midst of a ridge of high pressure. High pressure is essentially a stable air mass, a cooler, relatively speaking, air mass that's sinking to the surface, right? Higher pressure at the surface. Air that's rising, lower pressure, right? It's moving upward and ascending from the surface. So we are in the midst of high pressure, and hence with air descending, that means clouds aren't forming, obviously. They're opposites of each other, and they work hand in hand, so to speak. The weather around the globe, that clarity tonight bodes well for stargazers. Can't help but mention it. Take advantage. The next 2 nights should be beautiful. Beautiful crescent moon just the other night. The worst case scenario is we'll see some showers Wednesday night to Thursday. That means the next 48 hours, relatively speaking, are pleasant. Sunny during the daytime, and today was just gorgeous because it was comfortable. Humidity levels were really low. It was warm and beautiful to be outdoors doing anything, really. Tonight's low, technically tomorrow morning, let's call it Tuesday morning's low before dawn, is a cool below seasonal by several degrees, 11 degrees Celsius. It'll be clear and calm, though. Sunshine's the story, as mentioned, and here it is laid out for your Tuesday. From the morning at 8 a.m., 14 degrees, the wind's calm, and picking up just slightly out of the east, then the southeast as we go from the noon hour to 5 p.m. At 5 o'clock, we'll reach peak. Might even reach that beforehand, closer to about 3:34. 26 degrees at that juncture, feels like 29. The UV index is rated high for the next 2 days, so protect yourself with sunscreen. Thursday to Friday, look at this temperature trend. 30, 33, 29, 29, 31, 29. So we'll warm up this midweek through the weekend. And Thursday into Friday, we'll see some showers, most likely Thursday morning and again Friday throughout the midday and afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, likely to see temperatures hovering around 30 degrees Celsius. So keep the umbrellas nearby. It's always good advice as we head towards the end of the week.
Okay, Gary, thank you for that. Well, the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit also offering some advice, warning about a possible toxic algae bloom on the Ruscombe River in the area of Trepanier Road and Lakeshore Road 129. Testing for the most harmful toxins has come back negative, but officials are still advising caution. Residents relying on well water from the river are advised against drinking that water unless they are routinely testing it themselves. Well, the third annual Windsor-Essex Hospice Rubber Duck Race is making its return on Friday. 5,000 rubber duckies will make a big splash at Bell River Sunsplash over at Lakeview Park West Beach. That's along the canal there. The event has raised 30 grand so far for hospice, and entering could get you a squeaky clean prize of your own.
So how you purchase your duck, each duck is numbered, and that corresponds to a raffle ticket. So you buy a raffle ticket for $20, and that ensures that you have a duck in the race so that you have a chance to win.
On the markets, Canada's main stock index losing some steam today. The TSX still up, though, 3 points. Dow down 19, the Nasdaq gaining 79. The Canadian dollar up today as well to rest at 73.03 cents U.S. Gold up more than $48 an ounce, and oil drops 10 cents a barrel.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. While trade and tariffs were the focus for Premier's meeting in Huntsville today, it was also a focus in Ottawa, where a group of U.S. senators met with the Prime Minister as we barrel toward that August 1st tariff deadline. That's when President Trump says he's hitting Canadian goods with across-the-board duties, raising the price of made-in-Canada products for the American market. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more on what the visit aimed to accomplish.
The group of bipartisan senators say they're here to build bridges, not to throw wrenches, as Canada and the U.S. attempt to hammer out a trade agreement. Now, all of them are opposed to the looming 35% tariffs on a number of Canadian goods.
Looking forward to it.
There was an air of positivity as the four American senators went into the meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney, and they felt progress was made 45 minutes later, and in another meeting with Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand.
She says we have a framework within that we wish to operate. We have the frame, we need to make it work.
The senators said they discussed contentious issues like the digital services tax, which Canada has paused, and the decades-long dispute over Canadian softwood lumber exports.
I think we now have a clear idea of how to proceed, and that's to build around some sort of quota arrangement. And the Prime Minister said he was open to that.
How'd it go?
It was good.
Good meeting?
It was good. It was a very good meeting. Thank you very much.
Carney was tight-lipped at the conclusion of the meeting, but the minister in charge of trade with the U.S. was upbeat ahead of his meeting with that same group of senators.
Do you think we're going to get a deal with the United States?
Hope so.
Can we get a deal that doesn't include tariffs on them?
We're not going to discuss all this stuff.
Now, asked if they believe a tariff-free deal is possible, Senator Murkowski said that's up to negotiators.
We all want to get to August 1st and beyond with a resolve that works for Canada and works for the United States.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that deadline and the threat of a 35% surtax will focus all trading partners.
I would think that a higher tariff level will put more pressure on those countries to come with better agreements.
And Canada has just 10 days to come up with agreement or face those punishing tariffs. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
In LaSalle, a pilot project aims to try out alcohol sales at Vipers games. A recommendation to council calls for the change at the Vollmer complex. The plan included the Goat Tap and Eatery as the operator of the alcohol service. Now, alcohol service would begin 45 minutes before each game and be cut off with 10 minutes left in the third period. A licensed security guard and a bartender would be provided by the Goat. As well as part of the plan, the Vipers would have 2 volunteers as floor monitors in the consumption area in the food court.
The town's got some pretty strict alcohol policies. That's why you only see a very limited number of licensed events happening through the town. So we have a very strict policy, and they've worked with administration to fit within our policies and make it affordable for them to run the business as well. And it looks to me by the report that it's a pretty well thought out proposal.
A countrywide shortage of a common prescription painkiller has pharmacies in the region trying to find clever solutions to help meet demand and get patients through the dry patch. CTV's Travis Fortnum explains.
It's a go-to painkiller. Oxycodone combines oxycodone and acetaminophen into one pill. For many people, it's what keeps their pain in check. But right now, it's getting hard to come by. Health Canada warning of a national shortage, and pharmacists like Tim Brady are feeling the pressure.
It's scary. If you've been stabilized, you have chronic pain, you found medications that are working for you, then all of a sudden you come to the pharmacy and say we have none. You don't want to go back into that situation again.
A manufacturing issue combined with rising demand has triggered a supply crunch with no full doses left. Brady's making tough calls, limiting refills, splitting doses, and trying to help as many customers as possible with what little stock remains.
We're basically out now. We're hoping that we'll get some in again soon. You're trying to limit people to like 30-day supplies instead of 3 months, trying to make sure we can, spread it around so everybody gets some.
The warning from Health Canada came in mid-July, but pharmacists like Brady say the squeeze started weeks before that as shelves slowly emptied. At Windsor Regional Hospital, staff saw it coming too and started planning early.
We look at our stock levels, then we'll determine basically a date of when we anticipate that we're going to run out, and then we'll start working on a plan. We're going to start to restrict it to those patients and use alternatives for other patients.
Drug shortages are nothing new. Canada sees hundreds of them every year, but it is rare for such a common pill to be impacted. Experts say the global supply chain is fragile, and even a small hiccup can cause a big problem.
For one pill to end up in your vial, it probably has ingredients from multiple countries. It's gone through maybe 8, 9 different factories. And so if something along that chain happens, you start to see a domino effect.
Health Canada says it's working with manufacturers to manage the shortage, calling drug access a top priority. Supply could return in the coming weeks.
When you have a drug that what we call is a fast mover, it's a commonly used medication, you also have people who are newly starting on it, but you have some patients who are on it for a long period of time. You're faced with a scenario where you have to make tough choices.
Brady says his team is doing everything they can, but the best thing customers can do is check in early and be patient.
It's not that we're trying to deny you the medications. We're not trying to make your life difficult. It's just we can't get any.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Okay, Gary is back with a wrap of a 7-day forecast. And Gary, it sounds like we've got another picture-perfect day on the way in the region.
Looks that way with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Humidity's not too much of a factor. Again, just like today. And a cool start to the morning. It'll be only 14 degrees around 7, 8 a.m. going up to 26. Humidity will make it feel just 3 degrees warmer at peak in the afternoon. So where do we go from there? Well, we'll continue to warm up Wednesday and still be sunny. 33 on Thursday, and now the clouds are dominant with rain showers possible, likely Thursday morning, and then for much of Friday, especially in the afternoon and evening. Weekend, hovering around 30 degrees, more cloud, and mostly cloudy with with a chance of showers. A week from now, still warm, but seasonal, 29 and mostly sunny. Wherever you are, enjoy the next couple of days in the sun and protect yourselves. Have a good night.
Yeah, soaking up that sunshine. Gary, thank you. Well, the green bin rollout is officially underway in Windsor, Essex. About 2,000 of the new food waste bins were sent out across Windsor's East End today, ahead of the program launch this fall. Our Bob Belichico gives us a peek at what to expect when your bin arrives.
When you get your bin, you want to read the welcome label on it. There's some good information on there. Open it up because there are contents in there.
About 120,000 will be distributed in Windsor, LaSalle, Tecumseh, and Lakeshore. First thing you'll notice is a 7-liter kitchen catcher with a starter kit inside of it.
This is what you're going to be looking for. So you're going to read it. It's going to tell you how to use this guide.
So what goes in the green bin?
It could be anything from vegetables to fruit to expired muffins, bread, fats, oils, grease, coffee filters, tea bags, pet human hair, dryer lint can go in here.
A compostable bag is also included in the kit,
so that we don't get plastic film in that liquid fertilizer that we create out of the food waste after it's collected.
The waste is processed to create a liquid fertilizer that farmers use to spray their crops. Renewable energy is also created from the waste. Another plus is time added to the lifespan of the current landfill.
These organics programs, or the green bin programs, have been proven to help us regionally and within the city reduce waste by anywhere from, 40 to 50%. So when you think about 110,000 metric tons, if we can cut that in half, that just makes our landfill life cycle that much longer.
Each bin has a gravity lock to keep pests out and odors in. The bins are made in Canada with the exception of the wheel axle. So distribution will continue until October. They will hit the county August 17th, starting in Essex and then flowing over to Tecumseh, Lakeshore, and LaSalle. The first pickup will be the week of October 20th. Circle it off in your calendar. In Windsor, Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Is it cool to be excited about the green bins? Maybe not, a little nerdy. I'm excited to get my bin. Can't wait. That's our time tonight. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6. Until then, I'm Ricardo, Veneza, and for everyone here at CTV on both sides of the camera, have a great night.